Okay, so I've cooked up all the hog jaws, and I just wanted to show you how much fat that rendered. That's a lot of fat. And I'm going to pour that off and use it later in another dish for flavoring. So at this point, once I pour that off, I'm going to add the onions in. Okay, so I've added the meat back in and added the onions. So at this point, we're just going to let the onions get to know the meat for a little bit. And then it's time to add the broth. Okay, so the onions have been in there for a little bit. I don't want to cook them completely. I just wanted them to get the flow of the seasoning in there. So at this point, I'm going to add in the chicken broth. And the chicken broth that I use is sodium-free or fat-free. Fat-free and sodium-free, rather. And so the amount of chicken broth I use determines the amount of meat that I've cooked. And for this amount of meat, I'm going to use 2 cans because I want to fully cover the meat. Alright, so at this point, after adding the chicken broth, I go ahead and put in the vinegar. Now, I'm not a measuring kind of person, so I just pour it in till I figure that's about right for me. Alright, I'm going to estimate that might have been maybe 2.5 tablespoons. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and put the lid on. And I'm going to set my burner to medium. And then I'm going to just leave it alone and let it cook.